Валик. Вал ручки, это значит... Ты правильно сделал.
And now you're looking in the vestibule that connects the Rosviet module with the Soyuz spacecraft. There's Oleg Artemyev, the veteran Russian cosmonaut, wearing a Hawaiian shirt that is part of the garb that Drew Feustel, Ricky Arnold, and Artemyev have been familiar with wearing from time to time on board the station. As the leak checks are nearing their completion, Artemyev will be talking directly with Sergei Prokopyev, his Russian cosmonaut counterpart, on the other side of that hatchway, as they discuss final measurements before the hatch on the Rosviet module is opened first, followed a short time later by the opening of the Soyuz hatch. Artemyev now has been given the green light by Russian flight controllers to open his hatch on the Rosviet side of the docking interface. That will be followed a short time later by the Soyuz crew opening their hatch, and that will set the stage for the three newly arrived crew members to float through the hatchway, be greeted by the other three Expedition 56 crew members, after which they'll make their way into the Zvezda service module for the welcoming ceremony and congratulatory calls from a variety of people who are gathered here at the Russian Mission Control Center. And Drew Feustel, the station commander, now in the field of view as he has joined Artemyev in the vestibule. Just out of the field of view is Ricky Arnold. We're standing by for Artemyev to open his hatch on his side, and there it goes. Okay. So the station hatch is now open, but however, the official hatch opening time will be marked at the point at which the Soyuz hatch is open.
Please continue performing the actions in the frame box. It's page 94.
And here in the Russian Mission Control Center, up in the balcony, overlooking the flight control room, a variety of U.S., Russian, and European officials are gathered for the welcoming ceremony that will follow hatch opening, and will be part of the welcoming ceremony that will be highlighted by congratulatory calls from officials, friends, and family of the three newly arrived crew members.
F-raise on.
Так, и тогда контролируем выравнивание давления.
And then monitoring the equalization process.
Давление выравнивается.
Pressure is being equalized.
В течение 2 минут давление должно быть постоянным.
It should be stable during 2 minutes.
Дальше работаем.
And then keep on. Copy?
And as you can hear through the translator, the instructions being given by the Russian flight controllers to Prokopyev to begin the equalization of pressure across that hatchway. Right behind Artemyev is the hatch to the Soyuz MS-09, firmly locked in place to the docking port on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station. That hatch to swing open a short time from now, just a few minutes from now, and the International Space Station will be back to a 6-person crew after only a 5-day interval between the departure of the previous 3 crew members.
$780.
780.
Принято.
Copy.
$775.
775.
And a good view in the foreground of Ricky Arnold, who is in his 2nd flight into space.
770.
Well into the 4th month, along with Drew Feustel. They are scheduled to remain on board the International Space Station until October the 4th, when they will come home in their Soyuz spacecraft with Oleg Artemyev.
Сергей.
765, да?
Sergey, 765, yes.
После открытия крышки люка БОСУ
Once you open the BOSU hatch cover,
не забудьте выдать команду P14.
don't forget to send the P14 command. Piotr 14?
Да, Петр 14.
Yes.
Надо будет отключить МБС.
Piotr 14, you'll need to turn off MBS.
До перехода в орбитальный блок.
Before you go onto the orbital unit.
Надо будет команду P4 до перехода в орбитальный блок.
После открытия люка.
After you open the hatch.
Once again, for those just joining us, a view of the 3 resident crew members, Expedition 56 on the International Space Station, soon to have their number doubled in size Once the hatch behind Oleg Artemyev at that docking interface swings open, Serena Aunon-Chancellor of NASA, Alexander Gerst of the European Space Agency, and Russian cosmonaut Sergei Prokopyev will float inside, and we'll be back to a half-dozen crew members on the International Space Station. Ricky Arnold on the lower left-hand side of your screen, Drew Feustel on the right. They have been aboard the space station since March 23rd, well into what amounts to about a 6-month mission once they will have returned home.
Yes.
Later this year on October the 4th. Once the hatch opens, the crew members will make their way into the Zvezda service module, put on headsets, and accept congratulatory calls from friends and family members and VIPs who are gathered in the balcony of the Russian Mission Control Center here in Korolyov. After that, Feustel will conduct a safety briefing to familiarize the newly arrived crew members with roles and responsibilities on board the station and escape routes to their respective return craft should that become necessary. There will be other activities for the crew over the next several hours, including placing the Soyuz on what is called conservation power, essentially power from the space station's electrical systems, so that its batteries are fully recharged for the time that it is scheduled to return to Earth in mid-December.
Ну, я готов. Скажи, когда.
I'm ready. Tell me when.
Ждем.
750.
7:50.
Сергей, какое давление?
Sergey, what's the pressure?
748,5.
748.5.
Медленно выравнивается.
It's equalizing slowly.
This is Mission Control Korolyov, just moments away from the opening of the Soyuz hatch behind the 3 crew members in the field of view who are inside the Rossviet module vestibule on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station. Oleg Artemyev closest to the hatch, Drew Feustel, the space station commander, and in the foreground is Ricky Arnold awaiting the entrance into the space station of the newly arrived crew members, Serena Aunon-Chancellor, Alexander Gerst, and Sergei Prokopyev, who docked their Soyuz MS-09 spacecraft to the Rossviet module 2 hours ago, the docking occurring at 8:01 a.m. Central Time, 9:01 a.m. Eastern Time, as the Soyuz and the International Space Station pass 255 statute miles over eastern China.
Алтай, пока уравнивается давление.
Altair, while the pressure is being pressurized, equalized.
Поздравить с успешной стыковкой.
I'd like to congratulate you on a successful docking.
Спасибо.
Вот, пожелать вам хорошей работы
Thank you,
на станции.
and wish you good and productive stay on board the station.
Мы справились.
Спасибо.
You'll make it.
Мы тебя тоже поздравляем. Да. Ты был с нами все это время.
Thank you. Congratulations to you too.
Первый экипаж.
You've stayed with us all this time, followed us.
Да. И весь верхний зал также вас поздравляет.
And the whole above is also sending their congratulations.
Всем огромное спасибо за работу.
Thank you everybody for your work.
Техника не подвела. Да.
We did it.
Да, всем спасибо. Меня тоже.
Thanks everybody. From me too.
Классно с вами работать.
It's always a pleasure working with you.
Давление 7,48 не меняется уже минуту.
So the pressure is 748 and it's been stable for a minute.
As final measurements are being read and analyzed by the flight
time it.
control team here in Korolyov, the off-going Soyuz shift flight director, offering congratulations to Soyuz Commander Sergei Prokopyev and his crewmates for their effortless docking to the International Space Station's Rassvet module that occurred just over 2 hours ago.
The timer is on.
Да, смотрю в иллюминатор, какая же она большая станция.
And I'm looking through the window. The station is huge.
По сравнению с кораблем.
Compared to the Soyuz vehicle? Yes.
Там места побольше.
Slightly bigger.
Сергей, какое давление?
Sergey, what's the pressure?
47 с половиной. Очень медленно, если изменяется, то очень медленно.
47.5. If it is changing, it's changing extremely slowly.
Так, ну, минута прошла, да?
But 1 minute is gone, right?
2 минуты прошло.
2 minutes gone.
Минута прошла.
2 minutes.
Тогда закрываем ККТ.
All right, then let's close the KKT valve.
Закрываю ККТ.
Closing KKT.
While they wait for the opening of the hatch on the Soyuz spacecraft, a space
Then close the
selfie
KKT.
being accrued by Feustel, Artemyev, and
Closed.
Arnold for the portfolio of their increments on board the International Space Station. We should be
And
seeing that
open the
Soyuz
SU
hatch
hatch.
swing open momentarily.
Alex is welcome to send the Per-14 command.
Всем спасибо.
Yes, sending. Thank you, going off. Com.
И не забывайте установить заглушку КСД.
And don't forget to put in the plug, the KSD SU.
Заглушку. КСД имеется.
The plug.
Да, КСД.
Yes, the KSD SU plug.
Ага,
Yes.
понятно. Так.
We're in a handover between satellites on the tracking and data relay satellite system. We'll be reacquiring our downlink television capability from the station momentarily.
Do you see us? Yes, we can see right now. All right. Let's not open the hatch right now because we can have KU band and video interruptions. The hatch is closed. Copy.
And as you can see, we are back with our downlink television from the International Space Station. You're looking inside the vestibule connecting the Rosviet module to the Soyuz spacecraft, and we see motion and the Soyuz hatch now swinging open at 10:17 a.m. Central Time, 11:17 a.m. Eastern Time. First in, Sergei Prokopyev. His first moments inside the International Space Station, and applause from the balcony from those gathered here in the Russian Mission Control Center. Prokopyev was the 231st human to board the International Space Station, followed by Alexander Gerst with a return trip inside the station. And Serena Aunon-Chancellor, number 232 on board the International Space Station. Her first moments being greeted by her NASA colleague and station commander, Drew Feustel. Again, the hatch opening occurring at 10:17 a.m. Central Time as the International Space Station flew 255 statute miles over the southeastern Pacific Ocean. The 6 crew members now making their way into the Zvezda service module, where the video system will be reconfigured. We'll be seeing them shortly as they don headsets and await congratulatory calls from the crowd that you see there on the balcony of the Russian Mission Control Center. And back now with our downlink, Oleg Artemyev, who has been on board the station since March 23rd, went back inside the Soyuz for just a moment to gather some equipment. He'll now make his way to the Zvezda service module to join the 5 other crew members, all now part of the Expedition 56 crew. And as we mentioned a moment ago, Sergei Prokopyev and Serena Aunon-Chancellor, both first-time flyers, were the 231st and 232nd humans to board the International Space Station since a permanent human occupancy began on board the complex in early November of 2000. Serena Aunon-Chancellor, the 61st female to board the International Space Station in history. We're standing by for the crew on board to reconfigure their television system. The next few of them that we will see, they'll be gathered inside the Zvezda service module. The International Space Station flying from southwest to northeast across the southeastern Pacific Ocean, soon to cross the west coast of South America, almost over Lima, Peru. And now inside the Zvezda service module, Prokopyev, Alexander Gerst, and Serena Aunon-Chancellor in their blue flight suits, having doffed their Russian Sokol launch and entry suits a short time after the docking of their Soyuz occurred at 8:01 a.m. Central Time.
Space Ground 1, we can see on our screens